Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you all for joining us. Yes, this is a meet and greet for Dr. Green. We just wanted to lighten the moment because there's a lot of buzz today about this battle between Patti LaBelle and Gladys Knight. And we know there is no battle because both of them are phenomenal, phenomenal women. So as we're waiting for folks to come on, as we're waiting for Facebook Live to be implemented, we're having a little bit of trouble with the share button. But if we can get that share button going, once we get it going, we'd like you to share and everyone have a watch party so we can get as many people on the line as possible. So I want to thank you for joining us, and I want to introduce our host, which is none other than our own Carla Jones Brown. She has been an at the well teacher for many years. She's been a supporter. She is a pastor. She is a author. She is a teacher. She's an educator. And without further ado, I'm going to pass it on to Carla Jones Brown.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, my dear friend, Jackie. And thank you for bringing us together for this occasion. We have come together this afternoon to spend a little bit of time to celebrate lives, to remember those we love, and also to hear a little more about some research, some phenomenal research, and how we can participate in working to end cancer. So I want to encourage you to, I want to encourage you to type in the chat. I want to encourage you to put your comments, put your questions, put your encouragement. We are just here to gather. If we were together in person, we would be able to kind of nudge each other and lean on each other. I will provide all of the encouragement for all of the engagement, but I want you to type in the chat. I want you to ask your questions. We will continue to provide the Facebook Live link throughout our time together. And so once we have that up and running, we will surely remind you that it's there. We will also have links for giving. And so just welcome to this space this afternoon. Welcome to this virtual space, and thank you for being with us. Today, we take a pause to remember and to celebrate Chadwick Boseman. Chadwick Boseman was important to many of us. He was an actor who played a number of roles, a number of significant roles. And as you might imagine from my ensemble today, New Jersey is my home state, but Wakanda is my nation state forever. Wakanda forever. And so at this moment, we would just like to pause and to remember and to celebrate Chadwick Boseman, taken from us far too soon from colon cancer.
I thought of Ali in the middle of the yard in his elder years, drawing from his victories and his losses. At that moment, I realized something new about the greatness of Ali and how he carried his crown. I realized that he was transferring something to me on that day. He was transferring the spirit of the fighter in me. He was transferring the spirit of the fighter to me. He was transferring the spirit of the fighter to me. Sometimes you need to feel the pain and sting of defeat to activate the real passion and purpose that God predestined inside of you. God says in Jeremiah, I know the plans I have for you. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. Graduating class, hear me well on this day. When you at this day, when you have reached the hilltop and you are deciding on next jobs, next steps, careers, further education, you would rather find purpose than a job or a career. Purpose crosses disciplines. Purpose is an essential element of you. It is the reason you are on the planet at this particular time in history. Your very existence is wrapped up in the things you are here to fulfill. Whatever you choose for a career path, remember the struggles along the way are only meant to shape you for your purpose. When I dare to challenge the system that would relegate us to victims and stereotypes with no clear historical backgrounds, no hopes or talents, when I questioned that method of portrayal, a different path opened up for me. The path to my destiny. When God has something for you, it doesn't matter who stands against you. God will move someone that's holding you back away from a door and put someone there who will open it for you. If it's meant for you, I don't know what your future is, but if you are willing to take the harder way, the more complicated one, the one with more failures at first and successes, the one that has ultimately proven to have more meaning, more victory, more glory, then you will not regret it. Now, this is the light of new realization shines on you today. Howard's legacy is not wrapped up in the money that you will make, the challenges that you choose to confront. As you commit to your path, press on, pride, press on with purpose. God bless you. I love you, Howard. Howard Webb.
Doctor! What's up? I never yielded. As you can see, I am not dead.
You know, it's amazing to me that a regular movie starring regular people who look like regular you and me can bring me to tears on a Sunday. And I'm too old to be shamed that I'm crying over a person who portrayed a movie character. But he said something very powerful. He talked about purpose. And our purpose today is to make you aware of something absolutely miraculous, because we believe in life and that more abundantly. And so I'm not going to get too churchy, because I could go from that scene right into a whole sermon, an altar call, and benediction. But that's not our purpose today. Our purpose is to hear from Dr. Hadiyah-Nicole Green, and we are so pleased to have her with us. And before we hear from her, we have a few folks who have been invited to share their stories of loved ones who've been impacted by cancer. So I was raised in the Black church tradition, so I'm going to do this in the Black church way. First, we will hear 2 to 3 minutes from Alexia Birch. Following Alexia Birch, we will hear from Linda Peavy. Following Linda Peavy, we will hear from Cheryl Strickland, and I would respectfully request 2 to 3 minutes. And at this time, we'll hear from Alexia Birch.
Can Ms. Birch please raise her hand, virtual hand or physical hand? I do not see your name in the participants.
If you can go to Linda Peavy, if you can unmute Linda, and Linda Peavy will start.
Hello, everyone. Is it possible for me to share my screen so I can put up the picture, or does someone have the picture? Or can I just share my screen?
Go ahead, man. You can share your screen. Go ahead.
Okay. Let's see. Can everyone see that?
Yes.
Can everyone see the photo?
Yes.
Yes.
Because I can't see you. So my name is Linda Peavy, and I have been working with At the Well for, I would say, maybe 10 or 11 years. And I'm also a huge supporter of Dr. Green and the work that she's accomplishing in the Orly Smith Cancer Research Foundation. These two people that you see meant the world to me. On the left is my mother. I'm going to try not to get emotional. Is my mother, Stella Peavy. I lost her to bone cancer in 1999. She is the reason that I am here. She's the reason why I've accomplished, any amount that I've been able to, because she was always so supportive of me and everything that I did. I mean, literally, never a harsh word. Whatever it is that I wanted to do, she was there to support me. She believed in me 1,000%, always being so encouraging. And because she had bone cancer, her condition was particularly painful. And she never, ever, ever complained through so many rounds of chemotherapy. I never once saw her complain about the pain that everyone knew she was in, the amount of drugs that she had to be given just to be able to sustain a lot of the pain that she was in because it was bone cancer. She was just a remarkable, remarkable woman. I miss her every single day. And it is one of the reasons why I am so supportive of the foundation. She passed away on April 16th. I had to bury her on my birthday on April 20th. I take her with me every moment. She's always in my thoughts. So this is just one of the reasons why we have to find a way to end cancer. And 15 years afterwards, on the right, you see Alice Peavy. Alice Peavy was my sister. She was my big sister. And she had ovarian cancer. And once again, just fought so valiantly. I remember gifting her a pair of pink boxing gloves. And I made her promise to me that she was gonna fight. And she did. She fought until the very end. So this is why this organization is so important, for you to give whatever you can. Dr. Green has come up with a therapy that actually has killed cancer in mice in the laboratory. And we are fighting so hard to bring her therapy to human trials. These are two people that meant the world to me. I think about them every day. Alice even worked at some point. She helped out at the Well Conferences, Inc. She was always giving, always loving. So I just wanted to share with you my story and why this is personal to me. This is not just another nonprofit that I'm involved with, but the work that Dr. Green is doing is critical, and Dr. Green will share her personal story, and you'll find that the people who are involved in these efforts today, this is personal to them. This is not just another fundraiser. So thank you, Jackie, for giving me the opportunity to share just a little bit about these two incredible women.
Thank you so much, Linda. You are in our prayers, and thank you for sharing that heartfelt story. I'm going to ask that we unmute Cheryl Strickland, and Cheryl will share her testimony as a cancer survivor, and then we will go right to the introduction of Dr. Green. Can you please unmute Cheryl Strickland?
Can Ms. Strickland please wave her hand? Her name is not visible in the participants. Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, I'm sorry. Hi, my name is Cheryl Strickland. Wow, I've known Jackie for many years, and I've worked at the Well as a chef. So in 2011, I started bleeding. I started bleeding when I would go urinate. And I was like, that's weird because I don't have a menstrual. I had a hysterectomy. So I paid attention to it. I went to some doctors in Jersey, and immediately they was like, oh, let's do this test. And I said, what type of test? They said it's a cystoscopy. And I was like, okay, and so what do you do? And he said, well, you have to go up your vagina straight to your bladder, and that's how they're able to check your bladder to see what's going on. So I was like, all right. So they did it. They didn't find anything. So I said, okay, so what am I supposed to do now? He said, let's wait a little while. Something is brewing. I was like, all right. So I waited a couple of months. You know, I would keep going back and forth, but he wouldn't do the test. He would say, you know, did anything change? I said, no, everything stayed the same. So I wasn't getting what I needed to hear, someone that knew what was wrong and could stop it and help me. So I went to another doctor, same situation. So after that, I said, God, you have to send me a doctor because this is ridiculous. So a friend of mine that following night called me and said, you know, I was listening to WWRL and they were talking about bladder cancer and they were talking about the symptoms. And I said, well, what did they say? They said you have bleeding like a menstrual. I was like, wow, well, where's this doctor? He said, in Harlem. I said, really? Give me his name and number. So I called him. His name is Dr. Jason O'Geese. He's a urologist. I called him up. I spoke to the secretary. I told her what was going on. Immediately, they gave me an appointment. I went in. I saw him the next week. I was in the hospital, and he performed the cystoscopy. When I woke up, he came to me with like a picture. And he said, let me show you this picture. This is your bladder. Your bladder is covered 75% of cancer lesions. I was like, what? He said, that's why you was bleeding. I said, I went to those other doctors. They were never able to find it. He said, maybe, you know, no one knows why. But anyway, he found it, took a picture of it and showed it to me. And he said, well, the good thing about it is it didn't bother the top portion. I said, well, what does that have to do with it? He explained that if it was at the top portion, then it would, I guess, connect to the other organs. And it didn't penetrate. It was just on the surface. And he said, I gave you a treatment. And I said, what type of treatment? It's called BCG. It's an oral that they put up your vagina and it goes into your body. You have to hold it for an hour and then you could release it when you urinate. So I went to him every couple of weeks for a treatment. And then I would go every 3 months for a CAT scan so they could check my bladder. It immediately worked. It immediately erased the cancer lesions that was on my bladder. But I continued having the treatments because he said sometimes it comes back. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to say I had stage 4. So, which means that I could have lost my bladder, but thank God I did not. I thank God for that. So I went to him for years and years and years. And then in 2016, I started having issues again. And I was like, well, what is going on? So they did a cystoscopy and a CAT scan again. So what happened was the bladder cancer metastasized to my lungs. So I had lung cancer. Then it went to my lymph node. I had lymph node cancer. And I had kidney cancer, but that was separate. So then I had chemo for 4 months. I had chemo for 4 months. After the 4 months, they gave me a CAT scan. They saw that the kidney kind of decreased with the cancer, so they was able to remove my left kidney. So I had one kidney, my right. So I stayed with that doctor until I got a clean bill of health. And then I said, I'm leaving him. I was looking around prior to leaving for another doctor. So I spoke to my urologist. I said, please find me somebody because I'm about to leave. It's 4 months. I'm fine. I know I have cancer in other areas, but I don't want to continue taking chemo. So he said, okay. So he gave me a doctor by the name of Dr. Petrolak. So I said, well, where is he located? He said, I don't know. He was the head of, the cancer unit in Columbia Presbyterian. He said, but that was years ago. Google him. So I Googled him and I saw that he was located in Stamford, New York. Well, Stamford, Connecticut, sorry. So I called, I made an appointment, and my daughter and I went. We sat there.
Carol,
But this is, yes?
we'll give you a 2 minute.
Okay.
You're gonna have
Am
to,
I up? Is my time up, Jackie?
I want you to bring it home.
Okay, so basically, when I walked into Dr. Petrolak's office, I felt hope. I felt like I finally got to a place that was going to help me. I saw people that looked bad, but they had hope. This doctor, I know it was a godsend. As soon as I walked into the office and I told him I still have lung cancer and I still have lymph node cancer, he said, don't worry about it. We have a clinical trial for you and it's going to work. He said, I just need you to be hopeful. I said, I will. I went through that clinical trial. In 3 months, the lung cancer disappeared. No scarring, no notice of cancer on my lungs. About 8 months to 9 months later, the lymph nodes disappeared. And it is exactly 2 years later, and I am completely healed of cancer. Glory to God. That's God. And I know God used him for me, because if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be here. But I thank God. And I don't know why he did it, but I'm thankful. I'm so thankful that he did heal me of cancer. I don't have to ever worry about cancer again. I'm done, Jackie. Excuse me.
Carol, we love you. And thank you for sharing that story. We wanted to hear a story of hope and survival. I don't know anyone that's survived stage 4 cancer. And you are standing here because of a clinical trial. And we are all on board right now to support the organization to go to human trial.
Thank you, Jesus.
We're going to turn it over to Toby Sanders, who is going to introduce our speaker of the hour. I'm not sure what's going on with Facebook. Our plan was to share live and to start a watch party, but if you all can share with someone to come on board, I would so much appreciate that. And thank you, Cheryl, for sharing your story. You are a walking miracle, and we are grateful to God that you are here with us. Toby Sanders.
Good evening, you all. My name is Toby Sanders, and I am honored to be in such wonderful company. I'm honored to be with so many of my heroes and people that I look up to, like the Sister Cheryl, like the Sister Glass Campbell, like the Pastor, the Carla Jones, and certainly like Dr. Hadiyah-Nicole Green. You will hear her story, and I don't want to take one scintilla from that, but I do want to introduce her to you all as an answered prayer. That's who Dr. Hadiyah-Nicole Green is. She is an answered prayer. And this prayer wasn't prayed yesterday. This prayer wasn't prayed last year. This prayer was prayed in the hull of slave ships. This prayer was prayed on the cotton fields and in the bush hollows. This prayer was prayed by generations and generations of women and men who strove to live full and healthy lives in the most challenging of context. And this prayer reached us in the life and work and creativity from this physicist, from this doctor, from this researcher, from this answered prayer. I know there are those of you on this line who have concerns about someone in your family. I know there are those of you on this line who grieve and live with the consequence of the pernicious power of cancer and various other forms of unhealth in our society. And it is my honor to introduce you to someone who is an answer, who is fulfilled promise, who is brilliant, but even more important than that brilliance, she is an incredible human being. I'm honored to be in her presence today. I'm honored to introduce this soul that is a saver of other souls in science. On behalf of At the Well and its wonderful president and executive director, on behalf of the families that are associated with the great work of health and wholeness, I introduce you to a great soul, a genius, a good person, an answered prayer. May God continue to use her and her technology and insight in the furtherance of the will of God to bring an end to a scourge of cancer. Dr. Hadiyah-Nicole Green.
Thank you all so much. Thank you so much. I am excited about being here. At the Well is family, is home. Can you all see and hear me okay? Okay.
Yes.
So I'm excited. Let me see if I turn it this way. Is that a little better? Is that better?
You're good.
Okay, good. Good afternoon, everyone. Happy Sunday. This has been an emotional opening, purpose, call to action, occasion, the setting of the tone. So I want to first thank God for bringing us together. Second, I'd like to thank Reverend Jackie Glass Campbell for organizing this and being the orchestrator of this event and pulling all of the different components together. Thank you to Reverend Carla Jones for your part, for the DJ, for the verses and setting the tone, because that is exciting. And to Linda Peavy and Cheryl, thank you both so much for sharing your testimonies. And Brother Tony Sanders, thank you for that beautiful introduction. It is Prostate Cancer Awareness Month. It's Ovarian Cancer Awareness Month. We've all heard from the other cancer nonprofits that early detection can save lives. So I'm not trying to say don't go get screened. That's very important. Early detection can save lives, especially if you have a family history. Get tested early, get tested often, even earlier than the recommended ages. Eat right, exercise, and keep your stress under control. That is more than a notion, especially while we're in the middle of a global pandemic and the height of global, the awareness of racism and Black Lives Matter. And right now, we all need hugs, and we're having to keep away from people. Everyone needs to make sure that we're staying on top of our mental health. Therapy is critical, especially these days, after watching real life public lynchings of innocent humans being replayed on TV and social media. And then our beloved superhero dies from cancer, a type of cancer that my technology could literally have eradicated. And when Reverend Jones was saying that she cried, I bawled my tears out all day. And it was very emotional for me because he's only a couple of years older than I am. And it was overwhelming for me to be in this space of having a technology that has killed human cancer in laboratory mice, and we're raising the money to begin human trials. And the degrees of separation between me and Chadwick Boseman are so far apart, we might as well have been on a different planet. And having you guys come here today to help us build the network, to make those introductions, to use your relationships and your network to connect us to people of influence who can help us move the margin. But even if, without a single celebrity, if everyone who heard about the work that I was doing when my interview with Roland Martin had 14 million views on Facebook, and I've gotten a BET award, and I've been named to the list of 100 most influential women by Ebony Power 100 and the Root 100, and named top 30 under 40 by Business Insider, and 100 Women of the Century by USA Today. And I'm grateful. I'm grateful for all of the recognitions and the honors. But if I had $1 from every regular, ordinary person who knew about the work that I was doing, we would have had the money to begin human trials already. And that's the part right there. That part is what makes this whole journey more heartbreaking. So I'm going to ask you guys to interact with me by dropping hearts in the comment box if you're on Facebook or if you're in the Zoom. So by show of hearts, how many people in the Zoom or on Facebook have lost a loved one to cancer or has been impacted by cancer? You knew somebody, work with somebody, love somebody who has ever been diagnosed with cancer. Drop a heart in the comments for me so I can see that you guys are with me. Every year around the planet, there are nearly 9 million people a year who die from cancer, even with the best of cancer care, from the standard of care to alternative therapies. Even with the best that the planet currently has to offer, there are still nearly 9 million people a year who die from cancer. And this is too much. I'm tired of losing. This is not about statistics. For me, this is personal. So I'm going to share my story as you guys continue to drop hearts in the comments. I was raised by my aunt and uncle, Ora Lee and General Lee Smith, and they were the only parents I knew. And I just talked about my accolades, but I didn't get here by myself. And the work that we're doing, I won't get there by myself either. This always has been a village effort. I'm literally the child the village raised. My aunt and uncle were the only parents I knew because I didn't have my parents. And speaking of that, I just want to pause for a second. And this charge it to my head and not my heart. There were a group of high school students and high school girls who worked to put this program together, who made the flyers, who promoted this event. So I just want to say thank you to all the young people who worked on this. I appreciate your contributions to something at this age. When I was a teenager and I was in high school, I was very involved in extracurricular activities. And those were the things that prepared me for where I am today. So my aunt and uncle, they encouraged me to go as far as I could in school. And I went on to become the first in my family to graduate from college. So now when I have all of these accolades, it's not because I was seeking attention or I needed a pat on the back. It came as a result of a lot of hard work and a lot of missed holidays and a lot of 20-hour days and the dedication it took to get a 4.0 in physics, and now having 3 degrees in physics and 5 years of training at the Comprehensive Cancer Center and a year in the Department of Pathology. I'm a proud HBCU graduate of Alabama A&M University. I spent my additional training with the years at the Comprehensive Cancer Center and in the Department of Pathology, and got my master's and Ph.D. from the University of Alabama at Birmingham. I did research at NASA, did research at University of Rochester Institute of Optics, and in Singapore. And I've had the opportunity, and I've been so blessed and so fortunate to travel the world doing my research, pursuing this dream and chasing this dream. So all of this story, though, is not about my education and my accomplishments, because my initial career trajectory was to revolutionize the way we receive cable and internet. And then one day, like literally one day, my whole life changed. My aunt who raised me announced that she had what she referred to as woman's cancer. And she said that she would rather die than experience the side effects of chemotherapy and radiation. This was devastating, not just to me and to her, but to our whole family. We literally have not had Christmas or Thanksgiving dinner together since this happened in 2003. For the last 3 months of her life, I was her primary caregiver, and I watched cancer take over her body. I saw her go from being the strongest Black woman I knew to someone who completely lost her dignity, her independence, her ability to walk, to stand, to eat, and even speak. I will never forget the sounds of her suffering and agony when all she could do was moan and grunt. 3 months after my aunt passed, my uncle who raised me was diagnosed with cancer. He opted in for chemo and radiation, and I was his primary caregiver, and I witnessed the devastating side effects that took him to the brink, like literally to the brink of death. And I watched him lose all of his hair, all of his eyelashes, all of his eyebrows, 150 pounds. He had uncontrollable diarrhea and no appetite. And his skin looked like it had been barbecued. It was horrible. And I literally prayed and asked God to show me a better way. And I started doing research, and I found all of the other claims to cure cancer. And I saw all of the treatments from the pharmaceutical industry. And I saw what was currently available and the strategy that the ones, that are offered in the hospital, what roadmap they did. So at 22 years old, with the 4.0 in physics, just graduating from Alabama A&M University, I set out on this journey to change the way cancer is treated. And I had the unconventional experience of being both a caregiver and a scientist. And because I saw the devastation of both cancer and cancer treatments, I knew there had to be something better than this. It occurred to me that if a satellite in outer space could tell whether a dime on the ground is face up or face down, and if a cell phone can call anywhere around the planet and target just one cell phone, even in a stadium full of people, then surely, we should be able to use lasers to treat cancer at the site of the tumor without all of these side effects. So I started graduate school with this specific intention to develop a cancer treatment without side effects, and I did. As unbelievable as it seems, this little Black girl from St. Louis, who was the first in the family to go to college, God chose me to send this technology through. And I jotted it down. I went to graduate school with this specific intention, and I invented a cancer killing machine that uses lasers and this small technology called nanoparticles that has shown complete elimination of tumors, of human tumors in laboratory mice after one treatment, not months and months and months and months of treatments, but after one treatment over the course of 15 days with no chemo, no radiation, and no observable side effects. Complete elimination of human cancer after one treatment over the course of 15 days with no chemo, no radiation, no surgery, and no observed side effects. So people always express these concerns for me. And when I was a child, I used to ask God, why me? Why was I the only one who didn't have parents, who didn't have grandparents? Why me? Why me? Why me? And as I got older and I went to college, and I was one of the only people I knew with full academic scholarship. And then I became Miss Alabama at A&M University, and I had the smallest campaign budget of literally like $100, $200. And there was another young lady who had saved up. Her parents had started this fund for her campaigns. When she was 4 years old, she wanted to be Miss Alabama A&M University. And I came in with this divinely inspired concept of using my leadership experience and tapping into when a queen was a leader back in Africa, and people saw my heart. And I did what was impossible. I didn't have the best flyers. I didn't have the best banners. I didn't have the best campaign, but people said they saw that I had the best heart. Not saying anything negative about the other women, but my heart is what got me through then. And one of my classmates from that time frame, he was actually the Student Government Association president. He was like, Hadiyah, you've done Mission Impossible before. God picks you to do unique things. So why not you? Why not you? So going through my childhood positioned me uniquely for this purpose. And we heard in the introduction when Chadman Bosewick was talking about purpose and Muhammad Ali and this purpose and having not just a career and a job, but a purpose. And my life story set me up for this purpose, for this mission, for this ministry. And I have been called for such a time as this. And you guys have heard about the Aura Lee Smith Cancer Research Foundation that I started. I'm going to tell you more about that in a second. But I'm currently, after all of that, I'm currently a professor at Morehouse School of Medicine in the Department of Surgery. News about my work has gone viral several times, with the headline being Black female physicist wins $1.1 million for cancer research. And I've been a meme for Black History Month, and Snoop Dogg has posted about me on his Instagram, and just posted about me on her Instagram. And NPR has on national NPR, and Karen Hunter has been a champion for my work for almost a year last year. And Ricky Smiley has had me on his show. And it's been a blessing to have the support that I've received. And I'm grateful for that. But none of that can save my loved ones. But maybe the technology I developed and the support that we get for it can save yours. And in keeping true to my inspiration, And to make sure that no other families suffer the way mine did, I founded the Ora Lee Smith Cancer Research Foundation in honor of my late aunt. And I want to pause here to distinguish ourselves from the other cancer nonprofits. I didn't just have an idea and see a problem and then start a nonprofit to raise money, to raise awareness, or to give hope, or to ask you to support research in theory that has not yet been proven. I literally developed the technology first, and I need help making this healthcare affordable. It literally starts at this level. And traditionally, people develop a technology, people like me who are scientists. And business people come in and say, get investors, and the investors provide the funding to take it to the next level and to the next level. And as soon as they can, as soon as the first opportunity presents, they sell to the pharmaceutical industry. That is not our business model, and that is not the destiny of the technology I developed. I am intentional with our business model and uncompromising because it is critical and important that this technology remain affordable and accessible for all. So this Wakanda-like technology is using lasers to activate nanotechnology that has already demonstrated complete elimination of human cancer in mice after one treatment over the course of 15 days. Our mission is to reduce the suffering of cancer patients by providing this technology that is accessible, affordable, and effective. So think Susan G. Komen meets Eli Lilly. This is a new business model. And while we are a tech startup, we're still a nonprofit. And while most other cancer nonprofits are raising literally over $1 billion a year to raise awareness and give hope, we have already proven that we can eliminate human cancer in mice. So we are raising money to begin human clinical trials. And our community, not me, I don't take salary from donations. Our community needs your help, your service, and your advocacy to raise the money to bring this life-saving treatment out of the laboratory and into hospitals. We are literally on the brink of a cancer revolution. We're not 20 years away. The technology is already developed, and we can literally begin human trials in as little as 12 months of reaching our first fundraising goal of $10 million. Now, something happened. We've already quietly reached our first $1 million milestone and decided not to do a victory lap because it was right in the middle of George Floyd and Ahmaud Arbery. And we were grieving and mourning along with our brothers and sisters. So we didn't do a victory lap. And what we're talking about is not a far-fetched fantasy of one day, maybe this will happen. We literally have raised this first $1 million with only about 15,000 people. And if we got 100,000 people to donate $10 a month or $100, we could have the money that we need to begin human trials without a conspiracy and without having to be vulnerable to selling out. So I'm asking each person who's ever lost a loved one to cancer, who's ever been impacted by cancer, donate even just $1. If we had $1 for every person who heard about this work and thought, oh, she's on TV, so she must have the money, or some celebrity is going to support this, or who sends us an email and suggests that we reach out to Oprah or Tyler Perry or some other place. Like, we have been knocking on the doors, everybody. Unless you have a personal connection and a relationship and you literally can pick up the phone and reach out to these celebrities for us, please don't flood my inbox with those suggestions. We've tried. It's really challenging to get to celebrities. Where we are able to get to our everyday people like me and you, who've lost loved ones to cancer, who have been impacted by cancer, and we're asking you to donate at least $1. You can text ORA 328 to 71777. So let me in the spirit of Black excellence, invite you to join us on this historic journey and adopt the Ora Lee Smith Cancer Research Foundation as your cancer charity of choice. Be at the forefront of this movement to revolutionize the way cancer is treated and literally save lives, not only for African Americans, but for millions around the world. This will be a globally available technology, and we have the responsibility for keeping it accessible for everybody. Our research is already done. We're not raising money for research, hope, and awareness. We've already done that part. We're raising money, and we have proven the technology is already working. So we're raising money to begin human clinical trials so that we can get the FDA approval to take this to the next level and start saving human lives. Your support will bring our technology to the people, keep us independent of the pharmaceutical industry, and ensure that this technology is affordable and accessible for communities around the world, directly saving big mamas and papas, aunties and uncles, sisters and brothers everywhere. And before I close, I just want to give you guys some facts. Not to, as the kids say, throw shade, and they'll probably tell me they don't even say that anymore now, but but Susan G. Komen raises nearly $350 million a year. Thank you, Carla. We still say throw shade. Okay, I'm gonna focus. Okay, Susan G. Komen raises nearly $350 million a year. And less than 10% of that, according to their documents published on their website, actually goes towards scientific research. In their 38 years of existence, since I was 1 year old, there's still no pink cure. In fact, American Cancer Society raises almost $700 million a year. And there's no American cure. They've been around over 100 years. And I think 20%, according to the documents on their website, less than 20% of the money of that nearly $700 million goes towards research. In fact, to our knowledge, there is not a cancer nonprofit or for-profit that has demonstrated this kind of cancer elimination in mice at this stage of research, nor is there anything else currently offered that is this effective currently at the hospitals to help us. And I mentioned this before, and I'm going to reiterate it. With all of the best alternative medicine and standard of care, there are still nearly 9 million people around the world who die every year from cancer. And I know this technology is disruptive, and that's not my concern. We don't want to compete with the pharmaceutical industry. We literally want to save the people they can't help. Our first goal is to make our mark in the cancer nonprofit space where people are already donating. We have so many members, especially of the African American community, who are raising money for these other major cancer nonprofit organizations who don't know about the work that we're doing. And it's important that when you guys learn about this, that you share the message and become champions for us. And if you see anybody you know raising money for other organizations, please make sure that you challenge them to become champions for the Ora Lee Foundation. And in champion, I mean, you can do anything from becoming a fundraiser, hosting a meet and greet like this for your network. You can shop on Amazon Smile. When you shop on Amazon Smile, log in with your Amazon login and password, and your whole cart and everything comes up, and you can select the Ora Lee Smith Cancer Research Foundation as your charity of choice. You can donate your birthday on Facebook, and when you go live on Instagram, you can select the Ora Lee Smith Cancer Research Foundation as your charities of choice. So when we're asking you guys to become part of this and adopt the Aura Lee Smith Cancer Research Foundation as your charity of choice, I'm not doing this because I have a diagnosis. I'm doing this for literally the thousands of cancer patients who are reaching out to me when their doctors have told them there is nothing else we can do. And they literally send them home to die. Very few African Americans get invited to participate in clinical trials like Sister Cheryl. So bless you for being courageous enough to do that. But so often we are experiencing disparities in healthcare, disparities in participation in clinical trials, disparities in the funding of Black scientists in this country, disparities in how we're being underdiagnosed with cancer. That experience that Sister Cheryl had of having to go to so many doctors before getting an accurate cancer diagnosis, that's not unusual, and it's heartbreaking and it's infuriating. And this is why we need to support our HBCU medical schools to create more Black doctors so that we can have advocates for us inside the medical system. We've seen Tuskegee experiment. We've seen Henrietta Lacks story. We've seen the atrocities committed against our people at the hands of the medical community. And those things are still happening. There was a report that came out, some foolishness and nonsense about African Americans can tolerate more pain than other races. And we're human beings. So, okay, I'm on my soapbox. Let me get back to my point. Because I could go on all day about the disparities in healthcare and medical research and clinical research. Where we are today, we are the first nonprofit in the state of Georgia's tech incubator. So we have the facilities and the infrastructure to translate this with the proper guidance that we need to be successful. We have clinical partners, oncologists, and surgeons who are ready to support our FDA applications and host human trials in a variety of cancers, including the kind Chadwick Boseman had, colorectal cancer, breast cancer, skin, head and neck, a variety of solid cancers, from literally from the rooter to the tutor, as the old folks would say. So I'm asking you, on behalf of those cancer patients who've been sent home and told there's nothing else we can do, is to choose the Aura Lee Foundation as your cancer charity of choice, and to encourage your friends, your families, your coworkers, your churches, your sororities, your fraternities to do the same, and to direct or redirect their cancer fundraising efforts from other cancer nonprofits to support us. Supporting us supports Black-owned business. It supports HBCUs. It supports Black families. Supporting us supports you. I need your support. Yes, your financial support, but I need your spiritual support with your prayers. I need your network and your introductions to other individuals and organizations, your resources and your encouragement. I need you. This is not something that was intended for me to do by myself. And I remember a couple people got frustrated, and we're just getting started. Like, we're 4 years old. And a couple people were frustrated that we've seen people raise $28 million in 4 days for a wall. And why haven't you raised this money? And what's taking you so long? And what's wrong? And what's going on? And there are a couple of things that I want to say. First, I'm grateful that we haven't had a single scandal. I have impeccable, excellent credit, and I've had an impeccable record my entire life. And I've even gotten a top secret security clearance from Department of Defense before. So I don't have a track record of scandal, but because other people have that I don't know, has nothing to do with me, I get met with a bunch of skepticism that I didn't own, that I didn't contribute to, that's not mine to own. So if you need to research me, please do. Vet me, Google me, look at the Wikipedia, look at my LinkedIn, do what you need to. And I'll say this, and I want to shout out to one of the brothers who was critical in establishing the Eastern Province Partnership and the National Partnership with the Brothers of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. And Brother Hardrick told me this story about one of the members of his chapter who stood up when he was presenting this and said, we want to know, what's her credentials and what's this and what's that? And he was like, okay, she has all of that, but you never ask these other cancer nonprofits what's the credentials of their scientists. You never even see their scientists, and you donate with no questions asked. I'm not saying donate blindly, because I want you guys to be all in and be champions and supporters. Yes, donate, but also be champions and supporters for the cause, because that's where we need you most. There is so much in my heart. And while we're in the height of all of this, I want to share, like, one of the most discouraging things that was said to me was by an older white man who told me, the Black community must not support you because they don't donate. And I said, and my heart was hurt when he said that. And he's like, you've been getting these awards and you've gotten your share of press in the Black media. And I said, I know in my heart it's not that they don't support me. We haven't done a good job of communicating that I need support. When those stories are run, it's usually at the very end that people hear that we need donations or that I have a nonprofit. And we know people have a short attention span. So the traditional marketing of tell the story and then get to the end and then ask for donations, some people may not even ever get to the end, and they're sharing the story and they're cheering for action. And my big thing is, if you see this and you care, please donate at least $1 right now. Just even if it's $1, if you can become a monthly donor, please do. Even if it's $1 a month. So I appreciate you guys taking the time today, and I ask you to stand with me. Yes, I've been through a lot. We've all been through a lot, but I've turned my tragedy into triumph. And I ask you to join me and do the same. Together, we can win, and together we can change the way cancer is treated. The text to donate code is AURA328. Text AURA328 to the number 71777. In the to field, put 71777. And in the body of the text, ORA328. Push send, and that will get you to the specific fundraising page for At the Well. This is a huge opportunity for you all to be part of this journey. Please don't be a bystander and wait and watch and see. I get so many messages from people saying, I've been watching you, I've been praying for you, I've been rooting for you, and I need you guys to hear me. I'm gonna say it loud for the people in the back to hear, like the kids say. I need you guys to hear me when I say, and this is what I was gonna tell you guys earlier. It's not for me to do by myself. And when I was praying and people were getting frustrated, why hasn't this happened yet? And people have raised $28 million for a wall in 4 days. What God put on my heart was that there were other people who are supposed to be part of this assignment. And there are other people who need to be blessed by participating in this ministry and this mission to get this off the ground. And God sometimes gives me these mission impossible tasks so that when we finish, we know it was too big for Dr. Hadiyah-Nicole Green to do by herself. We have to be careful to give God the glory, the honor, and the praise for making this happen. So my purpose in reiterating that is, if this is in your heart and you feel like this is something that you can be a part of, to get behind, please email us at info@auralee.org and become a volunteer or become a champion. Help us get the word out. Follow us at Dr. Hadiyah Green, at auralee.org. Those are our social media handles on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, at Dr. Hadiyah Green, at auralee.org. And be a part of making history with us. Be a part of doing this with us. It is, if it's in your heart, then it's for you. And it's one of those things where when I kept trying to walk away from this thing, and I'm like, oh, I'll do something else, I'll do something else. And people would say, oh, you better hurry up, somebody else will do it. I'm like, oh, I wish somebody else would. But part of this assignment may not happen if people who are supposed to be a part of this aren't part of it. So if you have a calling and it's in your heart to help, don't keep waiting for somebody else to do your part. Do your part. Until you have peace in your heart that you've done your best, keep doing your part and join the journey, join the journey, join the journey. So with that, I'm going to stop. And Jackie, Reverend Glass, do we have questions or am I just finishing? I want to say thank you to Reverend Glass. Thank you to At the Well, your board, all the young people who put this together, to all the panelists and people who came before me. Bless each of you. Thank you. Thank you to Tracy Stevenson on my team and our volunteers, Felicia, who helped do our part on our side. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. Thank you so much.
Carla Jones.
Dr. Green, we are so grateful to you. Goodness, from what I see in the chat, I know that I am not alone when I say thank you so much. Thank you for your work. Thank you for your commitment. And thank you for living in your purpose and just for making it easy for us to come alongside. When we do At the Well, for as long as I've been teaching, I always begin my first class with Ubuntu. And it is a word that means I am because we are. So thank you for inviting us to walk with you in your purpose and to make this possible. So I have so many.
One of my favorite African proverbs is, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go together. And this is an opportunity for us to go far together.
Absolutely, absolutely. So thank you, Dr. Green. We know you have another event where you are going to share your wonderfulness with some of the brothers of Kappa Alpha Psi. And so we thank you for sharing time with us this afternoon.
It's Alpha. I've been joking with the women who volunteer with me. I got to get my men right. I got to keep my men straight. It's Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity tonight. and we have the Kappa Alpha Psi fraternity event on the 26th.
Either way, I'm here for that. And you've just helped me with the perfect segue, because I want to invite any and all who are on this call. We don't care what your affiliation is, whether it was the first and the finest or any of the others. We want to encourage you. If you're wondering, how can I be a part of this? At your next chapter meeting, drop those social media handles and all of the giving links. Perhaps you're just having tea with some friends who happen to have some things in common with you. For example, there is someone that I met this summer who is queued up to be one of the speakers. And so I'm going to invite my soror, Carolyn Mason, to say a few words. There she is. Okay, I'm going to invite her to unmute. There she is. She is looking lovely.
Hey, thank you so much. Hi, thank you, Sora. And thank you to all the, first of all, just to everyone, but first of all, Dr. Green, before you have to leave, and I know you're going to one of our Divine Nine brothers. I know that you're a wonderful sister, friend of ours of Delta Sigma Theta, so thank you. I just want to say, first of all, blessings to you.
End of the program. So did you know, I'll be here until the end of the program.
Oh, okay. I thought you had to leave. So I was going to say, so first of all, blessings to you. And thank you for your anointing, because you have been anointed. Secondly, I want to just say that I don't think there's a person in this room, regardless of how many hearts we could type in there, that hasn't been affected by cancer, whether it's directly themselves or through a loved one. I certainly know, most recently my father passed away, but we can go through the list of them in the family history. But I think, I'm glad you said a lot of the things that I was going to say to you about the importance of us being represented, not only in terms of supporting the expansion of this technology, but of also our roles in terms of participating in clinical trials have making sure that the medications and the pharmaceutical industry is paying attention to what we need as patients, and that the trials and the medications and treatments are being targeted towards our demographic. But I also want to say that in terms of your last few comments regarding fundraising, part of it is also, you know, the way in which we need to, as you said, message what we need to do and what you need to do, and how you get that message out to the right communities, and how you talk about scaling the work that you're doing and creating partnerships around the work. And maybe so there's some opportunities there, and you're doing that already with getting connected to some of the Black Greek-led organizations in particular, but really figuring out, you know, who some ideal partners are for you for the work that you're doing. And to that point, I had a question regarding how you plan to expand your work and keep it accessible, of course, for the community, but make sure that you're not also limiting your ability to get it out more widely. Like, I guess what I'm questioning is, why aren't you looking at potential investors or so in your work so that you can possibly create more scale to your work so that you can get it out more widely? You know, I mean, I understand you might not want to sell it to a pharmaceutical industry, but I am curious to know, are there investors? You're a tech startup.
Yeah, so thank you for that question. So let me break down where we are with this. So when I started doing research, because that's what I do, I looked at the history of whoever raises $100 million for anything ever, right? And Black tech founders, that's like unheard of. Every day. Are you saying something? Can you hear me? We can't hear you.
Carolyn, you're muted.
Okay.
You have to mute yourself.
Carla, I think you have to unmute her. Dr. Green?
Okay, I was just saying, Dr. Green, you were breaking up a little bit. Thank you for someone who was writing the note. You were breaking up a little bit. We couldn't hear you that well, please.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you. So I was saying that when I started doing research to find out who in the world literally has raised $100 million or more to take a technology from bench to bedside, and I started looking at the people who look like me who have tech startups, this is almost unheard of for a Black tech founder to raise this type of money, and it really rarely happens, if ever. But then I started saying, who's raising hundreds of millions of dollars? And it's cancer nonprofits. And I was like, you know what? There have only been 32 African-American tech founders to raise $1 million or more for a company. There have only been 12 African-American tech founders, male or female, to raise $2 million. To raise $2 million or more for a tech startup. But then we have these other nonprofits out here in this space, and they don't have good competition. And so I said, you know, I looked at what Netflix did to Blockbuster by coming with a superior approach and product. And this was a perfect opportunity to disrupt the cancer nonprofit space. And looking at the investors that I talked to who were saying, of course, they want to sell to the pharmaceutical industry, that they weren't interested at all in keeping the technology affordable and accessible, and that I could be a humanitarian and a do-gooder with my part of the money, but they're trying to get rich. Make no mistake about it. This is a cash cow. And when I saw what we need to go from where we are to beginning human trials, which is 10 million, and then where we need to go from phase 1 to phase 2 to phase 3 is almost $100 million. And the experts in marketing said, stop talking about the $100 million number, get it into humans, show that it works in humans, which is that threshold that all the investors said you have to de-risk the technology in order to even get a fair assessment and valuation. To even get the first $10 million, it would have, most people were saying they wanted 40 or 50 or 60% equity. And And so part of what I did was strategically said, okay, well, if we have to raise the money to begin human trials on our own anyway, how am I going to do that? And so going the nonprofit way and establishing these partners and competing with these other nonprofits, especially for African-American dollars, seemed like the most logical approach. And people are saying, oh, maybe you could have done it faster, but not without trading majority of equity and ownership.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Paula, can you introduce one of our At the Well scholars, please? Phil Isabel.
Please.
Unmute Phil Isabel. She is one of our scholars that was with the, I believe she was with the Weekend Intensive Program. And we're unmuting her because she has raised some donations, and I want to give her the opportunity to speak. She texted me today. She said, Miss Glass Campbell, I raised $1,000 and all of the people have sent the money to me. But I am going to send it to the Aura Lee Foundation. So can you find Isabel? Phil Isabel?
Is that
Okay. Can we hear you?
Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Phil Isabel, and thank you, Miss Jackie, for giving me the opportunity to speak. I was excited and honored to be a part of this wonderful event because cancer is one of the most catastrophic diseases in the world, especially in the United States. I have at least 5 family members that have sadly died because of cancer, most of them breast cancer. So I saw this as an opportunity to somehow make an impact and help find an answer to cancer. My father is a pediatrician because he wants to make sure kids are well taken care of, especially those with cancer. I am very excited to announce that I was able to raise $1,025. I thank you again for such a great opportunity and allowing me to speak. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Oh, I want to put my arms around you, Isabel. How old are you?
I'm 15.
How old are you? Oh, wow. Bless you, bless you, bless you. 5 family members is a lot. And thank you for channeling that to do good. This literally has been my therapy. Trying to help other people has been therapeutic to help me heal in my journey. And I hope that this experience was therapeutic for you too. But bless you. I'm sending you virtual hugs. You are precious and special. Thank you for your contribution, and thank you for using your story to support the work to help us.
Thank you.
Now, what I want to invite you to do is something that I learned from our young people, because I have achieved official auntie status. I have a church fan and everything. So if while you are listening to folks giving testimonies, while you are hearing these wonderful stories, if you are truly old school, go ahead and grab your checkbook, because the address where you can mail a check has been posted in the chat. It's posted in the Facebook feed. While folks are talking, if you have an additional device, I know you do because it's 2020, go to Instagram and follow while we are talking. Go to Facebook and follow while we are talking. Go to Cash App, $ORALEE Smith. Is that correct? The whole thing?
No, Aura Lee Foundation.
Aura Lee Foundation. And you know what to do in the to line. This is a moment where we are trying to help Dr. Green hit her goal. Now, I heard her mention that there is a $10 million threshold that she needs to reach in order to do some work, and she has hit the 1 million mark. And you're probably saying, well, I can't write a check for $1 million. That's fine. If you give $20 for the next 20 months to redeem the year of 2020 that has tried to take us out, that's $400 without even thinking about it. So whatever you are able to commit to giving, I want to encourage you to go ahead and start that process right now. Cash App, Venmo, we have multiple ways to give. If you cannot give financially because the pandemic has, as the young people say, done you dirty, if you can share, if you can make this visible, if you can get this information into the hands of people who can give. Oh, the Amazon.com, for those of us who still subscribe to the evil empire that is Amazon, Amazon Smile will bless your life and it will bless your friends' lives. As we are buying masks, as we are buying Lysol wipes because they're now back in stock, as we are buying all of the things that Amazon has for us, with your purchase, with no additional work, all your purchases, a percentage of your purchase will go to the foundation. So share, tell your friends, share it at your churches, share it at your meetings, share it when you're at your family reunions, share it on Instagram, share it through Cash App, share, share, share. That is all that we ask. I am pleased to be a part of the At the Well organization. Yes, I have official. Someone in the chat has referred to me as Auntie Carla. I'm in my auntie status right now. But part of my work at the Well has also made a contribution, and I would like to ask my student Francesca. I would love to unmute you and have you speak on behalf of the students from At the Well for summer 2020. I'm going to invite you to, if I did that right, you should be unmuted.
Hello.
I did it right.
Thank you, Auntie Carla. Man, first I want to say that I am thankful and I'm grateful to being part of this event. I'm thankful to getting this information on this cause because to me, I have lost someone dearly to cancer. And it was during the time when I was age 5 and I just vividly, I knew my grandma. However, I just want to say on behalf of the At the Well Scholars for 2020 that we donate $1,000 to this cause because of so many things that we need to do to exterminate cancer for all people, for all colored people, for all mankind.
Thank you. Thank you. Bless you. Wow.
My student. I will be out here claiming people. That is my student. At the Well has given. April Birch is an important part of our community. And April Birch has also given a donation of $250. We have posted a variety of ways for you to give, and we want to encourage you to do that right now. And as a matter of fact, since I talked big junk about it, I'm going right, you're watching, this is live, this is really happening. I'm going right into, I don't know, I'm going to Cash App because Cash App has a really pretty green screen. And I'm going to give my donation of $250, and I'll just have to explain it to my husband after the broadcast is over. I'll work that out. Aura Foundation. There it is. And it comes up, are you sure? Of course I'm sure. Confirm. Add a note. I'm going to put At the Well in the note. And I'm going to press pay. Because official auntie status means that you can give donations without having to check that bank balance first, like I did when I was in my 20s.
Right.
Now you see how quickly I did that, and I'm good and old. I'm not good with technology. That's how quickly I was able to make the donation. What I will say that I commit to monthly contributions. I want us to get to our goal. This is our goal together. I see Carmen has begun giving a recurring gift of $100. I see Sydney Sykes did a video for Aura Lee. So we thank you, Sydney, for creating that video that helps us to be visible. And so many of you posted your stories in the chat. I tried to write them down and follow them. There was someone whose name was listed as iPhone. So I don't have your name, but someone was just returning home from a funeral for a family member who died from lung cancer. You have our prayers, but we are so glad that you have joined us and that you are in this space where you know that you are loved, where you know that you are among friends, and you know that this work will definitely continue to touch lives. And so we keep you in our prayers. Someone posted that they were going to share this information with their military veterans community. We are thankful for all that the veterans have done and for all that the veterans are doing to contribute to this cause. Delta Sigma Theta, the Chester alumni chapter, has also committed to giving. And some of you are not old enough to remember telethons. I feel like I'm at a telethon now where I'm giving you all of the givers. It is my privilege to continue to shout out all of those who have done the giving and all of those who are committed to this work.
And I want to shout out Gilda Durant, who just donated on Cash App. I just saw the notification. Thank you.
Nice. Very nice. We thank you, Dr. Green. If there are any additional questions, we want you to pop those in the chat. We are so grateful for Carolyn Mason for your words, for your face on the screen. We thank you for your time with us. This afternoon, we want to thank all of those who have made this event possible and for those who continue to make this work possible. Dorothy Washington, I don't know you, but save me some Skin So Soft. Dorothy Washington is holding an Avon fundraiser. Dorothy Washington, find me, because the Skin So Soft is a blessing to the mosquito ministry. I want to support you with that. Madeline and Bradley, thank you so much for writing the check that you are going to send. Cynthia Chappelle wants to know, how do we donate? You can donate through Cash App, and there we go. I knew there was tech support that had my back here. You can donate through Cash App. You can donate by texting ORA 328 to the number 71777, and it will take you to a link where you can give. The mailing address is the Ora Lee Smith Cancer Research Foundation, P.O. Box 11184, Atlanta, GA 30310. The Cash App, $ORALEE Foundation. And the same for Venmo. Thank you, Dorothy Washington. She has posted her Avon fundraiser in the chat. So please make sure that you click on that and you support her by purchasing all of those little things that you can put in the Christmas stockings, because 2020 has been a mess, but Christmas is coming and we will need to give gifts and cute little things. So there's a way to support one another in this work. At this time, I'm going to give a shout out to our technical team, without whom I would just be a whole mess. But without them, we wouldn't be able to unmute and to record and to save all of the information and to make sure that folks are visible when they need to be visible. So to our technical team, DJ Thomas Holmes, who helped us celebrate the aunties at the outset, to Isaiah Washington, a brilliant student who helps make sure that the right folks are muted and unmuted, to Jeff Braithwaite, and who is just a wonderful tech support and has become a good cousin and friend for making sure that our platform does what it needs to do. At this time, I would like to invite Jackie Glass Campbell to come right back and to give us a few words. And she has a shout out to Kentucky Derby. Linda, I want you to say more about Kentucky Derby.
Before she comes, may I make one quick, for everyone who has a small business, from Avon to, there were a couple people in the comment who were inspired by that, who want to do 10% of their sales and proceeds for a fundraiser for Orally, please email us at info@orally.org so that we can have a small business agreement and help promote your fundraiser on our social media channels and partner with you so we can do it together, so people will know it is an official fundraiser and that we will actually receive the monies from your support and you're not just using our name to get business. So please work with us so that we can have our small business agreement and we can promote the fundraiser on our pages and even maybe do a live to have a a show-a-thon of what your products are to help make it engaging so it can be more successful with our support. We can do more together. So I appreciate you guys. And I see NIY just donated. Thank you. And Ephraim Taylor just donated on Cash App. Thank you guys. I'm just seeing those, calling them out. So sorry for jumping in line, but I wanted to just interject for the people who have small businesses and want to do fundraisers for us. Please work with us.
Oh, I just wanted to give a shout out. I saw a message from Kentucky Derby Part 2 to everyone that she owns a cosmetics company and she's willing to donate 10% of the sales for the rest of the month. She's at www.shooinc.com. That's SHOOINC.com. So you can find this right in the chat. Kentucky Derby Part 2. She has a cosmetics company, www.shooinc.com. And I'm going to list this again in the chat. So thank you.
Thank you, Linda. I would like to say I received a text from Mrs. Carolyn Mason. She said, I made a small donation through the link, but will support more significantly via my fund later. There is yes, that's going to be a significant donation. She had to go to another webinar, but that's going to be a very significant donation. And thank you for having the conversation with her and explaining the details of what you're doing and your strategy of how you're trying to raise money to make this treatment accessible for everyone. So I wanted to say that. I pray that you are pleased with how everything has gone. I'm still in from the testimonials earlier. And
yes.
Good friend Cheryl, I didn't mean to cut her short. She is my good friend. She is a cancer survivor and we celebrate with her. And like you said, everyone doesn't get into those trials that look like us, but she was able to get into a trial at Yale University and it was very successful. So I'm going to turn it over to our hostess with the mostest, Carla Jones Brown.
I feel like we're playing ping pong. I just turned it over to you. It's all you. It's all you.
Okay. And let me respond. You asked if I'm happy. I am so full right now and I am so grateful. I know it is more than a notion to pull together so many people, and I know how many other responsibilities you have, Reverend Glass. So I do not take your time, your commitment, your energy, and the effort that it took for you to pull all of these people together and to tap into your resources to make this happen. I am so grateful. I thank God for you. You know, I love you. I appreciate you and the family and the community of At the Well and the supporters. And Wendy Garvin, I just see, I don't want to call out the amount, but thank you, Aisha Ingram. You guys are pouring in this Cash App. Somebody just gave $1,000, and I don't know if that's anonymous or not, so I won't say the name. But thank you. Bless you all. This is really, for me, to have you guys see my heart and to stand with me and to see what I'm doing. It fills me up in a way that my words don't do justice to how I'm feeling. So when you ask, am I happy? That is like the understatement of the year. I am beyond happy, beyond grateful, because I know this is a divine assignment. And I know when people come into this, they're not doing it because of my degrees. They're doing it because they see my heart. And I appreciate that you guys see my heart. Thank you, LaShawn Jones. And I'm sorry if we missed calling out specific people, but everybody who has donated today, who has put in a little bit and said we're coming back later, I appreciate it, because it's going to take all hands on deck and everybody to do their part, whatever that is. And I appreciate and I love you guys. I feel the prayers. I feel the support. I feel the love, and I'm sending my gratitude and my love and appreciation to you all. Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in, everyone. We want you to have a wonderful evening. We want to see you out here on the socials. We want to see you sharing this video. We want to see you. We want to pop into each other's meet and greets and fundraisers. So let us know when you are hosting and we will tune in to support you because we are all in this together. So now you can go take a quick little Sunday nap, get ready for this evening's concert of the aunties, Patty and Gladys. We thank you for joining us. We hope that you have taken the opportunity to jot down some of the information. And we encourage you to send an email or reach out to us and we can send you all of the links that you need. So thank you for spending time with us and for walking with us on this journey to the cure that is not just for our folks, but it's for all the folks. Thank you so much. God bless and good night.
Thank you, Carla.
Carla, can you give a special shout out to Sydney Sykes? She spent time editing a video that we're going to use at a later time to raise some funds. So you got to give a shout out to Sydney.
I think you just did, but we'll do it again.
Shout out, Sydney.